In today's tutorial, let's learn how to make a chain links pillow. Once you understand this concept, you can use it for afghans and even scarves. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to learn how to do a chain links pillow, and this is a really interesting concept as you end up with a three-dimensional, it looks like a kind of like a braid coming up from the work, and this is really quite simple. Now yesterday, and I know this is kind of crazy, but this concept has been around for a long time. I've never tried it until yesterday and I'm totally hooked on it. So when I go to look at it, I have another example that I tried for the very first time, and this is what we have here, and I have done the chain links on the one side here, and I'm showing you what you need to do over here in order to make that happen, and that's gonna be covered within today's tutorial. So here is the chain links pillow face just like you see here. So the front side that you can see here would be the side that you would use, and this would be the underside. So you can see that the underside has no texture to it. You can see it's kind of a little buckling a bit, and that's because of the chain links itself. So this is a really easy concept. Now I have not sewn these into position, so you just have to use a darning needle and just sew it so that it keeps it locked into position. But exactly how do you get this, and I'm gonna show you that right here. So here is my first ever example, and I tried it here. And essentially what you have to do is do a large panel, and the panels will have these slots that you see just like this. And at the end of the project you have to do this whole thing, and I've already done the chaining effect here, but the whole panel will look like it's three separate slot areas. So once you get that done is that you take the bottom piece here and you rotate it. Okay, so I can see that, see how I've kind of rotated this, it's coming up like this. Okay, so I want to do it the same the other way. So I want to rotate it so it looks like it's the same rotation. So once I just have to rotate it, so just take it up, rotate it once. Okay, so then you see a loop, and then grab the next one available to you and feed it through. Okay, so you only have to rotate that first one. So then once you have that one done, you just grab the next one that's in line and feed it through that new one like that, and then you take the next one. And so basically most of the work is in just creating this panel in order for you to do it, and the fun part is right at the end where you go to put all of these chain spaces that you see through each other like that, and you keep feeding. So it's pretty easy, right? So I'm going to be covering today on how to make this panel, and the panel is really quite simple. Now in the main tutorial project that you saw, it was just one single color. I decided to mix it up and just make it so it has multiple colors, and I wanted to do a really kind of a Christmas candy can one. So you will notice that when you follow it up like so, so you have the white, you see how it kind of just appears to come down and then back up. That's just because of the chaining effect, and that's what's really quite neat about it. So let's grab our Bernat blanket yarn just like this, and an 8mm size L crochet hook today, and let's get started and I'll show you how to do this concept. So let's begin. Let's create a slip knot and insert our size 8mm size L crochet hook in. So remember, the first one on the hook, the slip knot, never counts as one, and according to the instructions we have to chain 51. So please do that. So I'm just gonna, so you just wrap around and pull through. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Please go all the way to 51 for me and meet me back here in just a moment. I now have my 51 here, and you'll notice that the chain is really long. You would never think that your pillow is that wide. Just gotta bear with you is that the chain links absorb a lot of chains spaces. So for example, the chain links are 10 spaces, so I don't know if this is 10, but when you go to do the chain stuff it actually compresses it like this, so it makes this width a lot more smaller. So you just have to trust in it. So let's go back to the pattern and see what we have to do next. Starting second chain from the hook, so you just count back 1 and 2. Turn it over and get the back hump only, and I want you to single crochet in to that one, and you're going to single crochet the next 3 chain spaces. Now because you've done the first one on the back, the chain should turn over and you will see the back loops or the back humps, and I need you to single crochet 3 more. So 1 and 2 and 3. So when you're really looking at it, on the outsides of the pillow, okay, you have a total of 4 single crochets. You have to remember that because that's a really kind of a critical thing, because the edges both sides will only have 4. Now continuing along the chain, in the next 10 chains you have to slip stitch. So going into the next chain, just put your hook in, pull through and through, and count those to 10. So 1, go to the next one, slip stitch for 2, next one, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So you're gonna notice right off the bat is that the single crochets will appear taller than the slip stitching. That should be normal. So this gives you a good indication on what's going on. So now you're in the middle of the pillow, so this time you have to go to the next chain and single crochet 6 in a row. So 1, so single crochet, go to the next one, is 2, it's 3, 4, 5 and 6 is your last one. So when I look at the pillows, so let's bring it back, so you can see that it's gone from thick here, it went thinner as we did the slip stitch, and we're back thick again. So what you're looking at here in the pattern is that we have our 4 on the outside. Your slip stitching of 10 is this entire chain area space right here, and then the 6 is right here, is in the space in between these chain spaces. So when you look at this pillow, you're gonna have a 4, you're going to have a 10, 6, 10, 6, 10 and 4, and hopefully that makes sense to you. So let's come back to our project and let's pick up where we left off. So now that we have our 6 single crochets, the next 10 are going to be slip stitching. So just coming into the next chain and slip stitch the next 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 is your last one. So now we're going to do another 6 single crochets. So you can kind of see it's gone bigger, it went thinner as we did a slip stitch, we went back to 6, and now this is your 10. So the next 6 are going to be single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then we're going to do the slip stitching for another 10. So let's come back in and slip for another 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The beginning is always harder. That was 7, 8, 9 and 10. So technically there should be only 4 stitches left on the edge. If you're off by 1, I would add an extra 1. If you're short by 1, add an extra 1, and if you have 1 left over, just undo this knot and just make it smaller. So let's just the last ones are 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and we have 4. Like so. So there is my starting chain. The starting is always harder, but it's hard to believe that this is a pillow, but you got to remember that in the chain or the slip stitching of 10, that's all going to compress and it's going to make it much smaller, and that's how you get the size. Let's move up to row number 2. Before I move on to the next row, every one of these colors that you see are consisting of 2 rows. So if you want to change your color, now is the time to do it before we move up to the next one. What I decided to do, instead of trimming my yarn and having all these tail ends, I carried my yarn just like you see. So every time I finished with one color, I just carried it and just left it to the side. When I go to sew this pillow together, I can sew it in a way that I can tuck these in behind, and you'll never see that I did that. So if you're going to change your color, now is the time to do it before we move on. How I did it is that I just reversed out the last single crochet. So I just go to single crochet as normal, but this time instead of finishing the stitch, I will grab the new yarn like so, and I will pull that yarn through as the final, and I will let the blue just fall down and then begin using the red next. So let me turn my work and show you how to do row number 2. To do the next row, we're just going to turn our work, and we already know that there's 4 single crochets on the edge, and then we have the 10 here, and then the thickness here is 6. So we just got to keep in mind that we need to keep those counts. So now that I'm ready to go, so I'm gonna chain 1 first, and I'm going to single crochet into the first stitch. So that's 1, and then I'm gonna do the next 3. So 2, so there should be a total of 4. That's why I'm counting like this. 3 and 4. Okay, so that satisfies that edge. Now this, I have to create another one of these because that's what links into each other. So we have to start fresh. So we have to chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and we immediately jump all the way to where the single crochets are over here, and there should be 6, just like this. You will get used to where you need to put your hook, but I can see it's right here. So, and if you're not sure, just count them out and see where you can see them. So I see 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There's only 6. So just single crochet right over top of the existing single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now I have to do another chain 10 space here. So we just again just chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then I just come back, skip all of the 10 slip stitches that you just did there, and come into the next 6 that you see over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Again, just look at your work and get it as close as you can to where you think it's gonna work. I find this pattern is very forgiving in that way. So 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, you have another chain 10 space here, so do chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then just skip all these 10 here and go into the final 4 stitches that you see. Okay, so this is the other side. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now that we're done row number 2 that you see here, you can see that you have your chain spaces here, and we are always changing color on the same side. So in order to change color, I have to come back 1, but I'll show you what we need to do in the next step because we're not quite done with this new space. We need to make it as thick as the one that you see, and we'll start row number 3 next. Okay, let's turn our work and begin row number 3. So we start off and we have 4 single crochets on the edge. We know that these are chain 10 and we know that these are 6, and we continue that same patterning going all the way across. So to begin this row we chain up 1 first and then single crochet into the 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So now that we're at this chain 10 space, each one of these are going to get a slip stitch. So just start in the first chain and slip. So just through and through. So 1, and I count them to make sure I get them all. So 2, 3, and I'm only going into one strand if you saw it. It's 4, it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I was going to the last one, and it is 10. So now you have your 6 single crochets. So if you're short, for example, you went across and all of a sudden you're realizing that you missed something or something is not right, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I think you can get away with that pretty easily. I wouldn't make that mistake a lot, but you can do it. So now you have your 6 single crochets here. So just coming into the first one. So 1, 2, these are single crochets, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And now you're back on the chain 10 again. So just kind of just manipulating it a bit and going in and slip stitching for 10. So 1, moving down the chain, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So now you're on the chain or the single crochets for 6 again. So just start in the first one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then just continue to do the chain 10 again. So slip stitching across the 10, and then the final stitch will have 4, and then I'll meet you at the end of this line where I'll show you how to carry the other color and drop this color. So I'm coming up to the end. I've already done one of the 4. So 2, 3, and the final one, the 4th, I'm gonna start it, but I'm not gonna finish it. I'm gonna drop the red and I'm going to bring the blue up and finish that. And so then the blue is then ready for the next round or for the next row. So what we have here is that you can see that these are both equal. So when we go to start the blue, when we turn around, so let's turn around and I'll show you just real quick, because this is really how simple this pattern is. So we're just going to just chain up 1 and begin again as what you already know. So there's nothing more complicated to this pattern other than what you already know. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, because that's only 4 on the edge, and then this is your chain 10 again. So you're gonna start a new one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, and then just jumping off over all the space and just getting into your 6 single crochets that are waiting for you on the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then begin again. So chaining your 10 and then continuing that all the way across. So you would continue to work up the project like it states in there, and it says repeat the last 2 rows. So we just have to keep repeating until we have a whole whack of these. So let me bring up the other sample and show you how to make the chain links once again. Okay, so once you get to the total height that you need, and I think this is a little bit short for the height just so that you're aware, so if you're counting the amount of stripes I think it has to be a little bit taller, but for tutorial reasons I can show you what to do next. So you're gonna have this panel and it's gonna have 3 sets of slots that you see. Okay, so let me hold that up. Do you see that? Okay, so you're gonna have 3 slots and now it's time to make the chain link effect. So just choosing any one of them, determine which one is the bottom that you're gonna start with, and once you start with that one you just have to maintain it so the next one is the bottom, and etc. We're gonna work our way upward. So you're just gonna take the first, okay, the first thing and just turn it around. So just pick it up and turn it and it will have a loop. Okay, so it'll cross over like this. Okay, you're gonna take the next one that's in sequence, so this case this is white, and you're going to pull it through that loop. You don't have to twist it, you just have to pull it through. You go to the next one that's in sequence, pull it through. Okay, and I'm kinda pulling on it snug, so go to the next one and keep pulling through. And I'm gonna work my way all the way up. As you can see, this does not take any time at all. And the nice thing about it is that when it gets to the top you can just let it go, but you're going to need to sew it into position, the final one, so that it doesn't unravel all the way back on you when you're going to actually use the pillow. So it'll hold itself though while you're in the making stages, just like this. Okay, so then you can see that the size just changed because you've gotten rid of all this space and now it's compressed it. So you will sew then this piece and just sew it right to the top using the same color so you don't see it, and then this maintains itself. So you just go to the next one, again looking at how you twisted it, so you see that it comes up around through. So I wanna do the same thing, so twist it first, next one is through, and just keep doing that all the way up. Isn't that pretty cool? So I have to say I think I'm hooked on this concept. It's a lot easier than I expected it to be. I thought the chaining and the slip stitching and the chain would be a lot harder than it has been. I think that's been my procrastination, only to realize that it's been my own craziness for not wanting to try it. Just I made some pretty stupid assumptions. Okay, so you can see that we got that one, and let's go for the final one. Again, twisting it and through. So you can do this concept for afghans and scarves and a lot more. You just have to make sure that you have that chaining of 10 spacing that works, and just be prepared that when you go to do this whole concept that you have to be a lot wider, because it's really gonna suck in the width once you do this chaining effect. Okay. So I've gone all the way to the top, so I've done the whole thing with you on camera, and you can see that it's all been nicely braided. So this is a really cool concept. So you have to do 2 of these, and then you just have to go around the outside, sew the panels together, and then once you have your final side open, slide in your pillow form, sew it shut, and then you'd be good to go. And this would be a really kind of a cool gift as well as a home decor item within your home. So until next time, it's Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. Stay tuned for more free ideas and more coming up real soon. We'll see you.